All right, guys, so this is a quick informational video on how to use the USA Test Prep import tool that Brooke Skeen has shared with us all. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is open up the USA import tool and save a copy of it to your computer somewhere. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to work on copying and pasting in a couple of different things. So the first thing that we're going to work on is copying and pasting in our student IDs or defined IDs, first name and last name. If you don't have a running roster, you can import this data from the TVA. You'll just go into TVA and click search. So once you're in TVA, this blue button, you don't need to enter anything here, but if you click search, it'll pull up all of your students. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So for FERPA purposes, I'm not showing you the rest of this screen because it has all of my students' data on there, but you're going to get all of your students' data in student ID, first name, last name. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. You're going to click on this little check mark. And then over here where the three lines are, you are going to pull that down and look for the one that says, it's at the very top, and it says export all data as a CSV file. So go ahead and click on that. So once your CSV file comes up with your roster, you can copy and paste the column with student IDs and then the column first name, last name, and this is your org defined ID. You'll copy all of that and paste it into the appropriate sections in the dashboard in the USA Test Prep import tool. All right, so once you have all of this information copied and pasted in here, we are going to do a couple of things somewhat simultaneously. We're going to go into USA Test Prep and export our gradebook from there because we're going to need to copy the whole gradebook onto the gradebook tab down here at the bottom, but we're also going to need to get those USA Test Prep item names from the USA Test Prep gradebook. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So once you're in your USA Test Prep gradebook, you won't change anything here. You'll just go to export. And then once your USA Test Prep gradebook opens from the USA Test Prep site, you're going to highlight this little corner there, which makes everything on the page be highlighted, and then you're going to copy and paste this into your USA Test Prep import tool. So we're going to copy, and then we're going to go paste as values in our other document. Okay, now I'm back in my USA Test Prep import tool that was shared by Brooke Skeen, which is amazing. On the USA Test Prep Gradebook tab, you will just click at the top and you will paste everything as a value. Okay, so there's nothing you need to change. You'll leave your copy and pasted gradebook just as it is. We are going to grab the titles to our USA Test Prep assignments so that we can paste those onto the other page. So I'm going to start with USA Test Prep number 1, and I'm just going to copy and paste that right over here as a value. Okay, and so we're going to do that with all of the USA Test Prep assignments. And then I will show you how to get your gradebook titles from the OLS. So in order to get the gradebook titles for our USA Test Prep assignments, we are going to go into the gradebook and export those titles. So once you're in your gradebook, you're going to click on Export. And here I want to do the org defined ID, and I don't have to have all of that. I just need the points grade and then last name and first name. And then I'm going to scroll down and make sure that I have all of my USA Test Prep assignments checked, and that will export the titles. They have to match exactly like they should. That'll export the titles from the gradebook into an Excel document. All right, so once your Excel document opens, you should have the org defined ID, the last name, the first name, and then across the top you have the different titles. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, and 3 for now, but you could go ahead and put them all in there if you chose to do so. So I'm just going to copy what is up to, you don't need the whole thing, so I'm going to copy up to where it starts with points. You don't need everything else. And I'm going to copy and paste this into my dashboard import tool. All right, so once I'm back in my USA Test Prep tool on my dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and paste that right in there. just like that. And I'm going to do that same process with the rest of the USA Test Prep assignments that I would like to import. All right, so I have all of my student IDs, my org-defined IDs, first names, last names. I've got my titles ready to go. My USA Test Prep gradebook is here on the Gradebooks tab. So I am ready to make the magic happen. So on this blue, big, huge button right here in the middle, you will click that, and this is where all the magic will happen. So automatically another document will pop up that looks like this. You'll have your org-defined ID, all of your USA Test Prep assignments, and your end-of-line indicator. We are going to go ahead and save this document as a CSV file. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put zeros. You can do this two ways. You can do it on this end, or you can go back into the gradebook and enter zeros for any student that did not complete the USA Test Prep assignment. And so I'm going to go ahead and enter zeros here by filtering for the ones who have blanks. And so I'm just going to go through and enter zeros from here all the way down into the very end. And I have a couple of, it looks like, blank org-defined IDs. So I'm going to have to fix that. If you guys see that you have the same issue, when you go to import this, it is going to cause a bit of an issue for you. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to need to compare why I have those couple of blank org-defined IDs. So I'm going to go ahead and enter zeros on all of these columns, and then we'll get to importing this. All right, guys, so I went ahead and entered those zeros in my USA Test Prep 1 and 2. I'm not going to do it for USA Test Prep 3 because it's actually due today, and I don't want to give kids zeros today. But I did go ahead and enter them here. I also went ahead, for the sake of this demonstration, and I deleted out any blank org-defined IDs that I have in here, but I will need to go back and do some research as to why I have kids on my roster that don't have an org-defined ID. So once we're ready we're going to go ahead and save this as your CSV file. So when you go to File, we're going to go to Save As, and I'm going to just save this to my desktop as a demo. And actually already have a demo file, so this will overwrite it. But make sure, this is a really important part because you will not be able to do your import correctly if this is not CSV. So in the Save As type, you'll pull this down, and you will select the comma delimited CSV file, and then you will save it. Mine's going to have to overwrite it because I already have one. Say yes, and then you are ready to import this into your OLS gradebook. So let's go do that. All right, so once you're in your gradebook in the OLS, you are going to click on Import, and then you will select your file. And we're going to go pick that CSV file that we just saved right here. Double click. And it's going to show you that it's there. And then at the bottom of the screen, you are going to click on Continue. So when I click Continue, the hope is that I'm not going to have any errors for my import. If you do, it is most likely because students have been removed from your roster and you were not aware of it. If I had left those 3 blank org-defined IDs in here, that would have been the case for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. So when you click Continue, you're going to see your preview import, and this is where you can just kind of look through things and see if anything looks off. You will see here, these are changing. So this student took this and it's changing from a no grade to a 7 out of 10. And so this one is too. These over here are not going to probably change much because I just imported these not too long ago, but this is my USA Test Prep number 3 over here. So I do have students that are, actively taking that. So just you'll want to scroll through. And so for example, like this one, see how it goes from 8 to 0. If you have something like that going on in your book, you'll want to check that because this particular student was transferred from a different teacher, and so I had gone in and manually put his grade in from USA Test Prep because I didn't have it, but I was able to find it. So you don't want to have mistakes like that come up. So if that's the case, just be aware. Anytime you see it changing from actual points to a 0, you want to make sure you go and check that out, okay? So we're going to go ahead and click import at the bottom of the screen. And the goal is that you would see a import success at the bottom. All right, so once you've seen that imported successfully, you are good to go, and you can just repeat these steps each week to import your USA Test Prep assignments. For those of you that were here last year and did it one by one, you know this is brilliant and a time saver. If you have any questions or need any help with the importing or any of the steps in the process, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am super happy to help you with whatever you guys need. Have a great day.